Alright guys, TacticalRab here, and I hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. With the teams arriving back from the tournaments, Dashy's gone on to explain his POV on what might have been the most important moment of the entire weekend, that 1 vs 3 clutch against FaZe in the losers finals in that game 5. Dashy explains his POV, why Cellium and Drazah made the play they did, and why Dashy was able to capitalise to keep their momentum going. Also some Rostermania stuff we've got to talk about. Very much interested your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I greatly appreciate it. XDefiant, by the way, is now out here yesterday. I know there were some server problems early on, which tends to always happen, but eventually it started working. Scump was playing it, everyone was kind of playing it. Honestly, good timing, to be fair, for the XDefiant guys to finally launch it, because let's not forget, they're meant to launch it last year. Never happens. It was meant to kind of come out before COD, and then COD came out, and they were like, well, probably doesn't make sense to release it now, and they had problems to resolve as well. People always talk about whether a game is now better or worse than it previously was, but it's very interesting, and I'm sure that Ubisoft are working on some sort of competitive scene around this game, because that's the whole point. This game has been designed as a competitive COD-style shooter. Still feel like it reminds me kind of a Black Ops 4, something like that anyway. When you play it, at least I feel, you get a feeling of like old school COD, what COD kind of used to be. And maybe it's not exactly that, but they will try and make it work, and everyone's been giving it a go, no least of course Dashy last night here, who of course had the game straight downloaded. This was rather entertaining as well, I've got to say here, from Ziddy. So he pointed out this from his father, you know, Papa Zid. He's been on the stream, I think, back in the day a couple of times. Did Drazah and Scrap really have any beef? And Scrap's like, well, you know, kind of, yeah, that is the case. So he's trying to get all the details, and maybe he'll continue. It just seems that every event at this point, there's some sort of drama after Major 2, after Major 3, after a couple of years ago World Championships. You know, that Sunday night, Monday morning is always absolutely sensational, and I don't exactly foresee the Drazah scrap beef going anywhere anytime soon, especially because this is basically a 3-team league right now. Yes, the Subliners came third back at Major 2, but they were last place or whatever back at Major 1, that they were 4th at this Major. So they're not really a contender on the Sunday New York Subliners as they were last season, which means the real contenders are OpTic, FaZe and Toronto. Two of which teams, let's say OpTic and Toronto, seem to have been better on LAN this time than they were online, which means that we have a very competitive top part of the league, and hopefully that means more Scrappy versus Drazah matches to come. The record, by the way, here is very interesting. I think I, saw the stats floating around of this yesterday. The Drazah is 1 in 6 against Scrappy on LAN. That story is probably a bit different online. Obviously, we've seen FaZe and Toronto play online not long ago, and it wasn't especially competitive in the favour of FaZe. But on LAN, Scrap's record against Drazah is 6 in 1, which is, of course, the same record that Drazah has this season against OpTic at 6 in 1, and which, you know, he called himself the CEO of the organisation. So maybe there's something similar that Scrappy could do here to Drazah, because does always kind of tend to beat him on LAN, and of course, he was the key reason why they did so this past weekend. This, by the way, is another look at the trophy that broke. So we saw it yesterday in our afternoon's video when Shotzzy was talking about exactly what happened in the story behind this. But this is actually a shot of it. Here's Dashy in the background, you can tell, looking like Batman as always. And yeah, it goes through the airport security stuff and they break the trophy. So they're going to get another one. It's kind of unfortunate how often these things tend to happen. Couple of quick things though on the Rostermania side, just to look at an update on what we could expect to happen, because we talked about this yesterday. I would say there's at least like 4 teams that probably need to make a change. Whether any more than that or probably fewer than that that is another question. But of course, Pentagrxm by the numbers has been one of the weakest players in the league here on the Boston Breach. But this is what he said yesterday. Been away from social media to avoid the negativity and keep my focus on the team. Unfortunately, we finished the split in the worst possible way. Sorry to the fans. One more split ahead to turn things around, and I know we can't. Of course, implying that, you know, he's still going to be there, right? Which would probably be a kind of surprise to me. Now, at the same time, it's got to be said, after Major 1 or whatever it was, when Zed came out on stream and said, oh, well, no, we're not going to be making any changes, like, we're going to be sticking with the team, and then a couple of days later, they made changes. So, you know, just because Pentagrxm isn't aware that changes may or may not be being made, doesn't necessarily mean that changes aren't being made, right? Now, this is coming out a couple of days after the Major, and of course they were eliminated way back on Friday. So you'd have thought that if Pentagrxm knew he was gone, he might have known by now several days after they were eliminated from the tournament, but still, I guess time will only tell. These are their cards, by the way, and yeah, 1 in 13 search and destroy. It ain't pretty. 6 and 2 in control. Their high point wasn't too bad. Beans, by the way, actually had a 90 rated card when you don't include the record, because they were, you know, 0-6. With Beans, because they were 0-2 with Shorty and 0-8 with everybody else, everyone lost 8 points or 6 points or 2 points or whatever on their card. That's kind of how it works. So Beans' card was actually a 90 rated performance in terms of kills per 10, damage per 10. You know, he had the highest damage per 10 in his role in Harp1 in the entire league, and not dissimilar numbers in the control. So goes to show that Beans played pretty damn well here, and Snoopy would have been at an 84, regardless of, you know, the kind of discount that he gets because they weren't doing so well. So, you know, just to show that there is some promise there. And I don't think Boston would be wise to get rid of either Beans or Snoopy. The problem is that you've got to wonder who you need to put with those guys to actually get the best out of them and ensure that they can still be good in search and destroy, because, you know, I don't think Priestahh and Pentagrxm are those guys. Shawnee even stepped in for Beans, did a solid job, but they still lost both of those series. So where do you go from here? You know, Pentagrxm with a 59 rated, sure, it's actually a 67 rated or whatever without the negative overall, but it's obviously still not a good look, right? Because, you know, 0.9 in hard points, very low kills, low hill time, very low damage in basically all the modes. Only the control for Pentagrxm was pretty solid. Everything else is pretty damn awful. So, yeah, what do you do there? That's a question. These, by the way, the cards for the Los Angeles Guerrillas. Flames came in. He replaced Assault, who had a 58 over the 3 games that he plays. Fame, though, had a bit of a fall-off. I think Estriel, you kind of know what to expect from him. I think at this point, he's going to be solid. Flames was great in Search and Destroy, but, you know, that fell away relatively quickly, but he was also good in control. Diamondcon's fall-off, though, has been the big deal to me, I will say, because he started the season so well, and because Diamondcon was frying and Assault might not have been, they could get away with it. Now Assault is gone, Flames comes in and he's done okay, but, you know, Diamondcon is not the same player that he was at the start of the season. So that's the big question to me. 1 in 10 in hardpoint is actually just shambolic. Like, we talk about Boston, their loss streak in Search and Destroy, their 1 in 13 Search and Destroy records. But 1 in 10 ain't far behind that, is it really? Obviously, that includes online as well, but so does the situation for Boston. These are the cards for the Minnesota Rocker. Another team that I imagine will have to consider some sort of move here. Now, I don't know what they're going to do exactly, but Accuracy has fallen off from being a very solid player at the start of the season alongside Awakening, but Awakening wasn't performing. Accuracy was there. Now Lamar's just having a really hard time. I mean, 66 rated cards, 0.66 in search, 0.87, 0.93. It's not been great, certainly in 2 of the modes, and they're 1 in 7 in control, 3 in 10 in hardpoints. Their search has largely been carried by Standy, who has ridiculous numbers in Search and Destroy, 99 rated kills, 99 rated damage in that game mode for a 1.49. So, you know, I don't think he's been great in the respawns. He's been fine, but it's the search that's actually made the difference. But it's still not been enough because the respawns haven't been there, losing 3-1 every single series. And Linz, his fall-off as well, might need to be studied in a lab. I mean, from where he was at the start of the season to where he is now has been very underwhelming, right? So another top 12. If they continue, I think, with this roster of 4, I don't think they'll make champs. So I believe they've got to do something. And also, after we talked about the Los Angeles Thieves yesterday, a couple of federal replies to me I saw floating around the timeline, such as this one from iBeZy, who was at the major. Saturday and Sunday, we had Dan, so Ghosty, JoeDeceives and Nastie all sitting near us both days. I think he probably means no sign of Kremp rather than sign of Kremp. Sunday Cap was with Dan and Nastie in front of us. Joey D was sitting with us. We asked Cap about Kremp, he shook his head. Asked Dan about Kremp, and he shrugs. And then, you know, this guy Josh Imola as well says or shows a picture of him with the 3 guys from the Los Angeles Thieves, but of course not the actual main man in Kremp, who is probably the odd man out if there is going to be one. And if you look closely, you can probably just about see me in the background here over on the far left-hand side of the watch party. But wanted to share what Dashy had to say on this 1 versus 3 moments, because this was probably the turning point in the tournament to some degree. I think you can even argue that, like, the defuse that Dashy got against Subliners Game 5 here on Invasion was kind of the turning point as well. But it was really the Search and Destroy from OpTic, especially on this map and also on High Rise, where they beat FaZe as well, that was massively influential. But Dashy kind of breaks down what was going through his head here, and for good reason, because this is one of the most important plays in OpTic history, certainly one of the top plays from Dashy's career. And sure, if you're going to get a 1v3, there's going to be mistakes from the other sides, but you've got to be able to capitalize.
To always, like, be in those scenarios, like winning a round 5, like every team won their Ds, you know? Oh, is this the 1v3? It's already, wait, went straight to this. Look at this shit, dude. kill Simp, and then I was like, I remember saying, okay, I see Zach right here. Zach's not giving a B. If anything, I think he's gonna go progress to this tank. Gotta do these like little calculations, right? As soon as I get spotted here, actually, he stayed forklift. As soon as I get spotted here, I'm thinking, I have one play and one play only. I gotta get to aBeZy as fast as possible to make one of them have to check it, right? So I get the bomb here. A lot of people say, why did Cell check? Let me explain to you guys why Cell checked. Because it was Cell didn't just like, oh, I'm gonna black out and just chow before 5. Look, right here, they think I could have been on bomb already, right? Zach doesn't even see me right here, right? Throw a little one pump right here. As soon as Zach says, yo, he's on bomb, Cell, like, look, on bomb, he's already committed. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's thinking, like, situation, it was important that, like, I didn't get seen.
Palace, I think? Yeah, he's Palace.
Like, right here, I get the bomb. By the time Cell realizes what's happening, it's already too late. Zach got info right there, it's too late. Kill this guy, insta-plant. Zach go after maybe 1 HP. You know what's funny is, like, I think I've been in this situation, like, so many times with Zach, and I swear he doesn't fucking check the bomb. Like, at least when it's, like, or not doesn't always do it, but, like, I swear I've been in this situation against him, and he did, like, I waited for him, and then he didn't check it. And I remember I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to stick it. And then once I was like, right here, I remember thinking like, oh my god, if he doesn't kill me here, I win the round. I remember thinking like, please don't kill me, please don't kill me. Like, I'm just sticking it like, please don't fucking kill me. And I was like, oh my god, once I got to here, I didn't die. And I remember as my regen, I'm like, I'm out to calf. But I'm like, I know he's close. I know he's in this area right here. He is like in this area right here. He can't be like obviously here. That'd be so like insane. But I know he's in this vicinity. So I'm like, let me see if he flanked through mid cut to here from B-Dom. Let me give, look at that timing. How criminal is that? You know what I mean? That is fucking criminal, right? I'm like, holy shit. So I was like, nothing here, but I'm like, could he be ready to be on bomb? Because a good play here from Zach would be like play around mid cut, see where I cross, and I just ran away, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not even like close to the vicinity, but I'm like, he could technically be on bomb. And then, right here, I check bomb, like he's not on it, and I was like, the fuck? Like, he has to be around this area, right? And then right here, like, I remember I was gonna clear back door, but that, like, in that motion of like me throwing the one pump, I'm like, oh, he's front here. I'm just get this guy the dirtiest one pump ever and just rip him with the pistol. Yo, Ace, Tito, J Lang, Devin, Slick, Range. I think it's what it says. Appreciate it.
We needed that. We fucking needed that, Bruce. Holy fuck, good shit, brother. I'll chow that. I'll chow all day.
I'm on Mars. I'm like, I'm chowing.
So Cellium definitely makes a mistake here as far as I'm concerned. You know, he didn't necessarily need to fly around the corner then and there. Now, did he have the confidence he was going to win the gunfight? Sure. Drazah just spotted him. Cell comes flying around, and Drazah obviously was calling out, as Dashy says, that he could be on the bomb, he could be planting. Cell wants to prevent that from happening. But if he comes around the corner 1 second later, maybe 1.5 seconds later, Cellium, then there's no way Dashy makes this work, because even if he does plant, then Cell's probably going to get the kill. So it's a tough one. Like, I do think Cell makes a mistake here, it happens, but someone still has to capitalize, right? That's what Dashy does, gets the bomb down with a second or so to spare, but I thought his comments on the read on Drazah were very interesting, because it was possible not to plant and go for the chow, but that realistically was never going to be a play that was going to work, because he was already weak, he was 7 HP, so if you're going to chow, you're going to lose the fight. That's never going to work. The only play to try is to stick the bomb and hope that it works out, but also just the comments of Dashy that he knew exactly what was going on in the 1 versus 3, in the 1 versus 2, knew where Drazah was going to be, knew what play he was going to make, and of course capitalize from there. Just to finish out with, I thought was very interesting in terms of overall KDs from the major: HyDra, Scrappy, Drazah, aBeZy, and aBeZy. That's your top 5. No OpTic players to be found here, the champions of the event in eventually rather dominant fashion, which I think is actually a rather good sign for OpTic. That shows their teamwork is in a great spot, because nobody on their team had, 1.15 or above. They had solid KDs, but there wasn't one player dominating or 2 players dominating and still not achieving the results. Very cohesive, very good teamwork, and that puts Cellium to 21 events in a row with a 1+ KD, and HyDra joins in there as well at 19. Drazah, Scrap, Pred, Ghosty attach. Skyz's 13 streak comes to an end, but HyDra on the SMG is still going strong. So very much interested your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.